Okay, next up.
Okay, objective 4, the last one. I don't know how much time I've got, and I can cut and go. So I'm Anita Dille, and I'm a professor in the Department of Agronomy at K-State, and I'm a weed scientist, as you may have heard earlier about all our weed problems, and they keep pointing at me. So I got a good plan, but the challenge is, can we implement the plan? And when you can only spray so much on wheat, and then as soon as the wheat comes off, you've cut all the heads off of the weeds. So you're trying to figure out, can they grow back a little so you can spray them? And then you got to figure out how to get that, right with the beans that are coming. Anyway, it's a challenge. So we got a good plan and we keep trying to figure out how to implement it. But my other role is assistant head for teaching in our department. And so that's where Chuck came in and said, hey, let's work on some of the educational components. And so there's 2 parts to this objective. The big one that we've been focused on and are excited to have here are our research experiences for undergraduates. And then we're also having a plan to work with Dr. Beatrix Haggard at OSU to develop a cropping systems class. So opportunities to link up to the field studies and bring students out there and develop that part of our class. We have a similar course already at K-State called Cropping Systems, where they do go out across the state and look at different crops. And so looking at how we can maybe merge us and OSU with that same kind of course opportunity. Still working on that. But I'm excited that we have another wonderful group of REUs here this year. And so my observations are here for about the first 1.5 cohorts. And so I'll give a little bit of an update on what that is. What was our goal with the REU programs? That we wanted 10 students to come and work for a 10-week kind of program over the summer. Split those students among projects between K-State and Oklahoma, and it's worked out that it's at Oklahoma and at El Reno at the USDA lab. Our goal is that in the grant, we support our students with $9,000 for the summer, and then some research funding that's available to the mentors to be able to accomplish the different projects. And it's a mentored research experience. So what I'd like to do is recognize our mentors. So anyone that helped last year or this year with a project, including the faculty lead and the graduate students, stand up, please. So mentors. Help me thank our mentors for all the work that they did. So they came up with a project. They connected with students with either themselves in a project or grad students to then come up with a plan for the project. And a lot of times, I had one last year. The young lady that I started with this year got called up for military duty within a couple days, and so she was gone. So that was a bummer, because I was looking forward to another opportunity to really work closely with these exceptional young people. But the goal is a project. Sometimes the student comes forward with, you talk about a bunch of ideas. It's like they get excited about this one and they go for it. And so it's a lot of fun to work with these young people and the ones that are in the room on that same thing. So sort of stepping back, what did the first year look like? So in 2021, we had 11 students, 7 at K-State, 2 at Oklahoma State, and then 2 at the USDA site. Out of that cohort, we'll talk a little bit about it, but 2 are actually continuing on that I know of. So they were, right before their senior year, finished their senior year and decided, yep, this is where I'm going to go for grad school. And they were in related areas. Our goal is we're bringing in young people from non-agricultural institutions and trying to give them a sense of what are all the things that we do in ag, not just all the field challenges that we had, but some of the neat technology and the engineering, the diversity of things, and hoping that maybe there's an opportunity for them to continue on. So we got 2 that are currently, after they graduated in May, that continued on, and we're hoping to track the others that may be now in their senior year where they're going to be going over time. So we'll stay in touch. Okay, folks that are here in the room that I'll talk about in a minute, we'll stay in touch. What we also did for each of the individuals is ask a pre-program survey. So we had a number of questions. What's your background and understanding and impressions? And then we also asked a lot of the same questions at the end. This year's cohort, they've gone through the pre-survey, so be ready over the next week. You'll get a post-survey, and I'll be asking some of these same questions again. We do work closely with an entity on campus, OEIE, so Office for Evaluation and something IE. Anyways, we got Adam and Leanne at the back there, but they helped compile that information. I'm hoping this will link up. and share. But these were some of the highlights from the program that they summarized from last year's cohort that we had. And so our demographics were 55% female of the 11 students and 30 identified as Hispanic Latino. And the participants learned about the program from a lot of different resources. So we do advertise quite widely and make connections. A lot of their advisors at other institutes connected. So we find that same information. One of our things is, okay, we are agriculturally focused, but we're bringing in students from multiple places. And so the pre and post, when I hear ag sciences, I'm thinking farms with crops and animals. 73% of them at first said, sure, but we at least got the number, their thoughts expanded for 46% post. I'm not trying to bias the current students, but you're going to get the same kind of question. What impressions do you have, right? When I hear of ag sciences, I think of labs with testing equipment. 18% said, are you kidding? No, they don't do that in ag sciences. And we upped that to over half the next time. Not everyone in their REU experience would necessarily be getting a lab experience, but just realizing that that's a piece of what we're trying to do. Participating in the REIN program opened up my capabilities as a scientist. And so here were some statements also that we asked, and the change from pre and post from the dark blue to the green. Careers in ag sciences touch the lives of people every day. 80% thought so beforehand, 100% after. The world is dependent on people who work in ag sciences, going from 90 to 100%. Cross-cultural communication is needed for careers in the ag sciences. So again, can we expand beyond our common neighbors and be able to explain it beyond? So 80 to 100%. Again, students highlighted an appreciation for the opportunity to meaningfully contribute. So what you guys are doing is not just necessarily going to sit on a shelf. It's important to what we are all trying to answer as questions, that you ask questions and learn and that collaborate on teams. Challenges as we continue to develop the program and making sure that we're providing a good opportunity for everyone. More explicit communication and feedback from the PIs as they're going through the program. And so that's always a challenge on doing that. Advantages and benefits from the students, gaining real world experience, obtaining new skills, and the other one is key networking opportunities. So again, working in those large groups, diverse groups as we're going through the program. So just those important components. Okay, get back to that screen. So just some highlights then of sort of that comparison and what those students gained from last year's group. This was Megan. She was the student that worked with me. And so an example of the kind of work she had looked at was looking at the impact of elevated CO2 on growth of C3 versus C4 weeds. And so opportunities she was from an environmental sciences program at the University of Virginia. So nothing ag related whatsoever, but interested in exploring that, looking at the growth chamber. We had opportunities to go to national professional meetings. And so I think a number of our students did that. And so gaining that next level of opportunity. Here's where some titles from last year's students. Again, just who their mentors were and the range of kind of projects that you have. You can tell which ones are K-State and which ones are OSU, but for example, Carlos was from Puerto Rico and studied the effect of commercial relative maturity, CRM. So Ignacio had mentioned that one and worked with the other Ignacio sitting next to him there. So thank you. Lindsay Bayer-Kohler worked with Dorvar and was looking at soil health parameters and early season nitrogen uptake. Maddie Morris worked with Tyson and looked at cultivated and uncultivated lands in the U.S. Southern Great Plains, so comparing some things there. And then Liz Frieden worked with mainly Andres, but then also Romulo and Tyson on in-season forecasting of grain yield and soil moisture and winter wheat. So Liz has ended up at UC Davis, I think, in a PhD program in that area. And then Megan's at Cornell doing a master's degree there. So just excited those two continued on. So who do we have this year? Just as an update, sort of pre-highlights, because I don't have the post survey yet. We have 10 students with our program this year. 6 are located at K-State again, and then 2 at OSU and 2 at El Reno. We have 7 female and 3 male. I'd like to invite you all to please stand and just get recognized as our current REUs. So we're probably divvied up by the room a little bit. I got my OSU and mix here, but just great. We timed it this year that they could participate, and we're excited that they're here to hear again the whole program and to see who all these people are. I've seen only 6 of them in the room and the other 4 on Zoom, so this is awesome to be able to see others in face to face. But we've got folks from the East Coast. So Ruth and Hannah are on the East Coast side, got all the way to California. So I got Tessa on California, and people from North Dakota down as far south, I think, as Oklahoma, as far as we went, right? I'm thinking I don't know any further south than that.
Puerto Rico?
Oh yeah, and Puerto Rico on the island. But I was thinking, okay, and then I've got Missouri, so next door, and I got Michigan, and we got Brooke. Where are you from? You're Oklahoma, and Cole, you're Missouri. So some close and some right. So yeah, Grant's Missouri, Cole's Missouri. So we're just excited. And Connor, you are Oklahoma. That's what I thought. So just again, opportunities to bring them from non-traditional programs. They may be at a land grant kind of institution, but don't have that experience just to interact here. So thanks, guys. We look forward to hearing your posters and talks. They're a little nervous about it. So are the grad students, by the way, but our undergrads are a little nervous, but look forward to having a chance to ask them questions and participate there. So excited that you're here. And potential future recruits. So the program will wrap up actually next week. So what we have been doing over the summer, as best as we can, is we really appreciate the mentoring that everyone has. So they're busy day, early morning to late day, but we try to do a check-in every Friday morning, share updates, presentations, making sure we're answering questions, try to use Teams. We're not doing it as much this year as last year when we were really still separated from each other. Encourage them to ask a lot of questions and work closely with those mentors, develop those professional skills. And we will have our final symposium and event next Thursday morning, for August the 4th, both a combo of in-person and Zoom, where they will share their research posters and their work to highlight sort of a wrap up of the program. So we've just been really excited of the quality of folks. We've got this year, probably 35 to 40 individuals that applied, and we picked our best 10. The previous year, we kind of had a combo because we started 2020 and couldn't run the program. We had a number of those that were willing to continue, and then also our 21 applicants. So spread the word, and we'll keep looking for our wonderful young people to then have another cohort next year to work on projects. Very diverse projects. You can tell just by hearing what everyone else is talking about. As we give opportunities for these students to really try a lot of different things. So you got soils people, weeds people, crops people, modeling people, and just trying a lot of different things. All right, so again, there's the names. I didn't put where they are from, but we're just excited to have Ruth, Cassidy, Grant, Teresa, Hannah, and Claire in Manhattan, Nadia and Connor on campus, and then Brooke and Cole out at El Reno. All right, I'll leave it there. Any questions on our program? We did have, and so the other key person I need to thank is Ethan Denson at the back. He's the undergrad or the graduate teaching assistant that helps with the program, helps with some of the logistics, hauled the group down to OSU for a tour for a day to be able to, those guys got to meet each other and understand programs, but just it's been a tremendous help in keeping the program rolling too. So, all right. Questions? All right, that's it.
Absolutely not.